In the headlines, the Nile Basin Initiative calls on riparian countries to enhance cooperation and eliminate political tensions. And scholars say restorations of regional peace, security, architecture top most priorities for governments in the Horn. Hello and welcome to EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism with the daily updates. I am Magdala Isiyum. And now moving on. The Bounty of Basket Yalimat Turufat program, which is under implementations in Ethiopia to help the nations ensure food security, has been creating great interest and motivations among the farmers and pastoralists in the country. Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Teruna said. The Deputy Prime Minister made the remark at the meeting opened today in Hawassa town of Sidama region states to evaluate the performance of the National Development Program that was launched in November 2022 by the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. With the main focus on nutritional opulence, the development campaign aims to boost productivity of dairy, eggs, chicken and honey and related products, as well as intensify efforts to achieve food self-sufficiency and ensure nutritional opulence at family and national level. China's Grand World Investment Holding Group has expressed desire to engage in the manufacturing sector of Ethiopia. According to the Embassy of Ethiopia in Beijing, the deputy head of the Ethiopian Minister to China, Ambassador Dawano Kadir, held discussions with presidents of Grand World Investment Holding Group, Wang Guangliu. Accordingly, Ambassador Kadir briefed the presidents about Ethiopia's potential investment areas that will help the investment holding groups engage particularly in the manufacturing industry.
Bali is one of the largest zone areas in Ethiopia and home to the Bali Mountains National Park. Its Afro-alpine climate is set to host the highest incidence of endemic wildlife per area in the world. These mountains get less of a spotlight compared to the mountains in the northern part of Ethiopia.
The steering committee of the Nile Basin Initiative underlined the need for cooperation and dialogue among riparian countries to eliminate political tension, address the challenge of water scarcity, and promote economic development. At an event that brought together key stakeholders to overview the NBI achievement and its benefit for Ethiopia, it was indicated that the framework has had a successful implementations of projects under the Nile Basin Initiative. Hikma Tamam reports.
The Nile Basin Initiative that operates with a shared vision promotes and works to achieve sustainable socio-economic development through equitable and shared utilization of the water resources of the Nile River. So the NBI also upholds cooperation as well as dialogue among riparian countries in order to eliminate political tensions or address the challenges of water scarcity and also promote economic development. So today, the Nile Basin Initiative committees brought together key stakeholders from different and various institutions to discuss their shared thought on the initiative and delve into the status of the NBI. So the National Engagements Meeting in Ethiopia aimed at discussing challenges and look into the achievements of this initiative in a bit to looking and shedding light into the contributions of the country Ethiopia specifically. So the executive director of the Nile Basin Initiative, Dr. Florence Grace Adongo, underlined the importance of engagements and the role of stakeholders in this initiative. Especially, she focused on what are the contributions of and the roles of these stakeholders that came together today to look into this specific initiative.
The key stakeholders here are mainly representatives from government. As one of our program, we have a national engagement with the key stakeholders from different sectors of government. First of all, to help them appreciate the benefits that have so far come from the time Nile Basin Initiative was established up to now, but also present to them the other potentials, the pipeline projects, and the potential that have come out of our strategic analysis, and share with them how they can embrace these other programs and projects. But also we come here to see what the national strategies are in terms of development of the resources, and see how we can incorporate the national development plans into our activities so that we can support the countries to achieve their plans and objectives.
The executive director also highlighted and listed the achievements of the Nile Basin initiatives so far.
We have various achievements. One of them, I can put them into three key areas. One of them is understanding the Nile Basin water resources. And therefore we have been doing a lot of knowledge generation and packaging this knowledge into documents that can be used by the countries. We have also done capacity building after identifying gaps in the different countries, especially on areas of transboundary, negotiation skills, water diplomacy, technical aspects. We have designed training programs.
On the other hand, Technical Advisor Committee of the NBI, Zebenelakos, said Ethiopia, as it is the initiator of this framework, is a country that facilitates effective coordinations.
Ethiopia is the founding of NBI from the beginning, and its role is to coordinate all the programs and projects so that Ethiopia would be benefited at maximum level. The main objective of this event is to let all the stakeholders know what NBI is doing, and also to give their own recommendations so that NBI will improve its engagement at national level. The power interconnection, flood and drought mitigation projects and irrigation projects, watershed projects, there are a number of occasions where those projects helped the people of the region, not only Ethiopia, but also the Eastern Nile.
The discussion of the national engagements of Ethiopia that kicked off today and brought key stakeholders from various institutions will stay till tomorrow, 23rd of April, 2024. Hikma Tamam reporting from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Ethiopia reaffirmed its commitment to transform its food system, which has gone a long way change the livelihood of its people. The remark was made by Minister of Innovation and Technology Bellet Amolla, who addressed participants of the 6th African Science, Technology and Innovation Forum kicked here on Sunday. Tigasser Nessa has attended the event and dispatched the following report. Take a look.
For Ethiopia, science and technology-driven initiatives implemented in the improvements of its food system has helped change the livelihoods of its rural people. This was the crux of the matter as far as the speech delivered on Sunday to participants of the 6th African Science, Technology and Innovation Forum by an Ethiopian official.
Ethiopia not only created a roadmap for food system transformation, but actively implemented numerous initiatives. These initiatives prioritize boosting agricultural resilience, achieving food self-sufficiency, and combating climate change. Ethiopian farmers are seeing the benefits of these initiatives. Fellow leaders, distinguished guests, Ethiopia is not just striving for food security, but also for a future driven by science, technology, and innovation. We recently amended our national science and technology policy, placing a strong emphasis on fostering innovation and harnessing the potential of emerging technologies.
The forum seeks to introduce solutions to reinforce the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and Agenda 2063, the Africa we want of the AU and eradicate poverty in Africa is how part of the theme was coined. It brought together signatories from AU, UNESCO, UNECA, senior government officials of technology and innovation from across Africa. Assistant Director General for Natural Sciences at UNESCO, on her part, stated that by investing in science and promoting innovations, African societies can empower youth to become the drivers of economic growth.
One of the continent's greatest strength and potential is youth. For the youth, science is also a unique opportunity. Science can address youth needs by fostering innovation, entrepreneurship, and skills development. Science-based education and training programs can equip young people with the skills needed in today's rapidly evolving environment. By investing in science and promoting innovation, African societies can empower youth to become the drivers, not only economic growth and job creation, but also solving pressing environmental challenges. UNESCO stands ready to collaborate with partners in this common effort.
Meanwhile, Deputy Executive Secretary at UNECA, Antonio Pedro, reiterated that the forum has grown to become a premier platform for addressing the opportunities and challenges that science, technology, and innovation has to offer, fostering partnerships.
This forum has grown to become a premier platform for addressing the opportunities and challenges that science, technology, and innovation offer, for fostering strategic partnerships and implementation of scalable and innovative solutions. For instance, in 2022, the forum launched the Alliance of Entrepreneurial Universities in Africa. Although it is still in its infancy, the Alliance has stimulated universities and their 19 million students in Africa to nurture million startups, to create 100 million jobs, and generate $200 billion in revenue in 10 years. That is by 2033.
Science, technology, and innovation are key drivers of industrial development, and technology industries are growing rapidly. Several African countries are emerging as producers and exporters of knowledge-intensive products.
Scholars approached by EBC World say that the root cause of security challenge in the Horn of Africa lies in the region's complex history, underlying that the formation of African states, contentious boundaries, and a lack of intra-regional cooperations also contributes to the tumultuous landscape of the Horn of Africa. The scholars urged the need for understanding these factors to put in place lasting solutions for the stability and prosperity in the region. Our staff reporter Johannes van Town has talked to them and compiled the following story. Take a look.
In a historical context, the Horn of Africa has been marked by centuries of shifting power dynamics, colonial intervention, and struggle for independence. The arbitrary borders drawn during the colonial era often failed to reflect the ethnic, cultural, and linguistic realities of the region, sowing the seeds of future conflicts. However, for Matt Biden, a strategic advisor for Sahan, a think tank group based in Kenya, there is no single reason for the turmoil emerged in the Horn of Africa.
If you think back to the early 1990s when there was regime change, new governments, new states, if you look at Eritrea and then subsequently South Sudan, it was a time of enormous turmoil. But then somehow things seemed to be getting on track. It was possible to speak of peace and prosperity and development in a meaningful way. And really, in just the last few years, I think with the war in Sudan, with the conflict in Ethiopia, South Sudan back into crisis, is there one single reason that all of this turmoil has emerged at roughly the same time? I don't think there is. I think it's a very complex region.
In addition, the manner in which African states were formed post-independence further exacerbated tensions. Many nations inherited artificial borders that divided ethnic groups, leading to internal strife and territorial disputes. The resultant fragmentation has hindered efforts towards cohesive governance and economic development. This, in a nutshell, is the argument forwarded by a Colombian university professor.
I think it's very true. The way in which states have formed in this part of the world is a big part of the reason both why there is violence within these states as well as between the states. And of course, what makes the Horn of Africa different from other parts of Africa is that you had European imperialism, British, French, and Italian, and that was very important. But you also had two African types of imperialism, from Egypt and also from Ethiopia.
No less glaring a challenge in the Horn of Africa is the lack of meaningful cooperation among regional actors. Historical animosities, divergent interests, and a defect of trust have hampered efforts to address common security threats collectively. Instead, the region has witnessed a proliferation of proxy wars and rivalries exacerbating instability.
Now what we see is a lot of initiatives from outside the region, bilaterally engaging with different governments, pursuing their own interests, and very little cohesion or coherence anymore of the kind we used to see. So what would have to change? I think we would need to see the restoration of a regional peace and security architecture that could manage all of these external interests. And that would require leadership from within the region, especially those governments that are not in such acute crisis, Ethiopia, Kenya, Djibouti among them, to come together and decide.
To address the root causes of security challenges in the Horn of Africa, a multifaceted approach like prioritizing dialogue, inclusive governance, and economic integration, the region can chart a path toward sustainable peace and development.
Thank you for tuning in to EBC World. Before I go, recap of the top stories once again. The Nile Basin Initiative calls on riparian countries to enhance cooperations and eliminate political tensions. And scholars say restorations of regional peace, security architectures top most priority of governments in the Horn. That's all we had for today's update. With the news for the hour, it was me, Magdalena Sigum. Goodbye.